Good. Do you have your thing open? With all your numbers?
And we are live. Well, welcome everybody to our next episode of the Dark Tower Dungeons and Dragons. As always, I do not have own any rights to Stephen King's works. I'm just using it to create this world and have fun with some friends. We are playing a mixture of 5e and some homebrew stuff. If you don't like it, well, don't care. Quick announcement. I am actually loading all the previous episodes onto YouTube. So anyone that cannot catch it live can catch it on YouTube at a later date. It is going slow, but they will all be loaded on there for anybody that wants to watch as well. So last time we played, Eth, Zoros, and Azair found another door on the beach. This one, a metal door with a whole bunch of lights on it. And above the image of a man in a chariot was the word the chariot. Eth pulled out the matching card, and as it unlocked, they saw a very odd surrounding on a monorail and saw their friend Faustus in a monorail car with his commanding officer. As they came through the door, they found a city where no one would want to speak to them without wearing masks, citing that they were unclean. They managed to convince a shopkeep to sell them masks at a very steeply increased rate.
Wasn't that steep now?
It was originally going to be 10 silver a mask, and you paid 10
That's not that steep.
That's pretty steep. So you guys managed to find
gold.
You guys heard a huge explosion, and you ran to find Faustus and his captain healing some wounded death doctors after a recent attack by the TikTok man. They asked for your help and tried to set up an ambush, but it did not go as well as one would have hoped. Captain Marshall was slain by the TikTok man, and he threw a bomb in your direction, at which point Captain Marshall told you all to run, and the door opened back up, and you guys jumped back through the door. And we are picking it up pretty much right at that moment of you guys jumping back from the door. Azair was the last one through the door. She was in her direwolf form and changed mid-jump, so landed on the beach with her normal half-elf feet, because she wanted to show off like that.
Yeah.
It does sound like her.
Probably you were that good with fire.
So at this point, I would ask Faustus, do you remember us now that we've come back through the door?
He kind of holds his head up, or his hand up to his head, and it's a very familiar feeling for both Zoros and Azair, because having that rush of memory kind of gave you a little bit of a headache. But he says, yeah, it is. It's coming back to me.
So, like the other two, I will let him know everything that's happened. I will hand him his card, his tarot card, to do with what he wants. And I will turn to the three of them, and I'm assuming we're going to continue on since there are still three other people that we had that we no longer have right now. I wouldn't mind resting somewhere. That last fight kind of drained me a little bit. What time of day is it, DM?
It is probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was around midnight where you were fighting the TikTok man, because that's when the ambush was set to take place. But here it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Maybe we can walk a little bit looking for maybe some place to sleep for the night. As long as we don't get into any scuffles, I should be fine.
We could do that.
Zoros, is that what's that?
I would be fine with that.
Works for me. I took some damage. I probably could use a nap.
Okay. We'll walk for a couple of hours towards whichever way we were going. Try and keep ourselves a little inconspicuous so as not to even draw any animals towards us either.
Okay. You guys continue down the beach, and you guys make it probably good 4 or 5 miles in a couple hours. And as the sun is starting to set, you do actually start to make out a familiar shape on the beach ahead of you.
Okay. Well, now that we know that we're this close, I'm going to go ahead and find, if there is no place to rest, at least try and find some place or some things to create at least a good enough sleeping quarters.
Yeah, you'd be able to do that. It's not going to be too hard to find a place kind of up in the forest area away from the beach to set up a little campsite and be able to take a long rest. So go ahead and take a long rest in D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Maybe if I say their name enough, they will decide to sponsor us, because that would be amazing.
Just because of what I'm expecting, as soon as I wake up, I'm going to touch my chest and have my normal little shimmer.
Okay. Easy enough to do.
Okay, you two ready to, sorry, are you three ready to go and see what this fourth door is?
Let's do it.
Let's
Ready
do
to
it.
get
I'm game.
Alrighty,
Faustus
so-
just puts his mask on and gives you a nod.
Oh, you're gonna wear that, are you?
Come on, you would wear this mask too if you could.
Well, probably, maybe. We'll see. Anyways, all right, let's go up to the door.
Okay. As you get up to the door, you notice that it is all white. Upon further inspection, you can actually see that it is made of solid bone. There are intricate patterns that are carved into the bone, and in the middle of the door is an image of a man with a crown sitting on a throne. In one hand, he holds a perfectly balanced scale, in the other, he holds a sword. Carved above the image is one word: justice.
I'm going to go out on a limb
So-
here and say that's probably not Rancid we're saving next.
Yeah, that definitely does not sound like the rogue that we know. It also doesn't sound like, was she a ranger? It's got to be the
Yes.
camel toe guy. I don't know. Okay. But I will rummage through my pack and I will find the tarot card that hopefully that matches the door.
You find a
And I
tarot card
will-
that says justice.
Do my normal thing and I will touch the tarot card to the door.
You hear a click.
I'll ask Not
I got it.
Icarus. Okay, there you go. Zoros can do it.
Okay, Zoros, you go and open the door, and it swings outward towards you, gliding smoothly as if on a track. That is my name, Faustus. So as the door opens, you see it's darker than where you're at, but you can tell that it's not nighttime. It looks to be just a very gray, overcast day. And beyond the door, you can see a temple in the background. But what kind of catches your attention in the foreground are rows upon rows of headstones. It looks like it is opening up into a cemetery. And wandering through the graves, there are 3 figures, but they are a little bit away from the door. So you can't get a good look on them, but you can at least make out that there are 3 figures walking through the graves.
Now, I'm not big on religion. Is any of the other 3 of y'all? Do you know anything about religion? Do you know what temple this would be?
Faustus has religion, so let us see what he knows.
Yeah, history.
Faustus steps up and it kind of looks into it a little bit, and he kind of sits there for a second or two and says that with all his studying of all the gods that he knows of, he thinks this area might be a temple of Kelemvor, who is the god of death and justice, I want to say. He's also known as the Lord of the Dead and the Judge of the Damned.
Well, that's not cool.
Well, we aren't dead anymore. Maybe that's a good thing? Or do you think we maybe not should mention that we were dead at one point?
I think that would be a wonderful idea that you did not do that. Absolutely. Okay. That's
I think
kind of
we should just. I think we should just kind of, because one of the consistent things is we kind of keep an eye on things, kind of get an idea of what we're walking into before we just jump through the door. Like we should probably just observe and kind of see what's going on before we just leap on into the fray.
Agreed. We couldn't do that, unfortunately, last time because the door that Faustus was in.
That is my name.
I'll get it right, I swear.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I know. The one that Faustus was in didn't move. He just walked away from it, and we were still there talking to Patricia, I want to say her name was. Who was the train?
I think it was
Beatrice?
Beatrice?
I don't know.
I thought it was Patricia. Patty Pat.
Probably.
Pretty sure it's Patricia.
Okay. Okay. So as we're looking through the door, is the door like with Zoros and Azair, is the scene in the door moving or is it still?
It is stationary.
Dang it.
Okay. Let's just watch and wait and see what happens, I guess. And if they start walking away and the door doesn't move at that point, maybe walk through the door.
Okay. So you see the 3 figures are just slowly making their rounds around the cemetery. Hamilton, you are currently walking through the cemetery with your I don't want to call him your commander, but he is your kind of your mentor figure, by the name of Volker. He kind of taught you and brought you up on the ways of being a paladin and worshiping in service to Kellamfor. And you are also walking around with a priestess of Kellamfor. She is in robes of bone white with the
Carrot.
hood pulled up, kind of obscuring her face a little bit. And you know her as a name I will tell you in a moment when I can find it.
That's a pretty name.
Wow, why can I not? Well, apparently she doesn't have a name because I didn't give her a name. So she is just, you know her. She is one of the high priestesses at the temple. We'll just say that all the priests of Kellenborg, when they are in their study, they give up their names to the priest and worship the Lord of the dead and the Judge of the damned. You at the moment do not know why they called you to this walk. It isn't very common for the high priestess and Volker to just stroll through the cemetery. But when she gets to a certain point, she kind of holds her hand up and just stops and looks at both of you and says, thank you for joining me on this walk today. If you would be so kind as to just wait a couple minutes, we should be having some visitors shortly that will explain everything that's going to be happening and why I called this meeting. And she just puts her hand back down and just stands patiently.
That doesn't sound like this is going to end well for Camel Toe.
Did we hear that?
Nope, they are still too far away. You can't make out.
Sorry.
Yeah, you don't know that Hamilton is even there. You just see three figures that you saw one of them kind of hold up their hand and then just put it back down, and just three of them are just kind of standing there. As you are watching through the door, you actually see the hooded figure kind of look in the direction of the door, which is kind of odd because everything that you have experienced, unless the door is open for you specifically, you can't see the door from that side. But yet you get the feeling that she is staring directly into your eyes.
That's not good.
And
That
that's
means whoever
me
this
or
cloak-
that's all four of us.
All four of you feel like she is looking directly into your eyes. You know how some
Well-
people have those gazes that just seem to be looking like deep into your soul, and it's a little unsettling? That's the kind of feeling that you get.
Can Eth detect the aura, anything around her? Like,
I
is she
doubt it
magical?
because, at least not without walking in there, just because I couldn't even throw a firebolt through your door.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
like
right.
magic doesn't permeate through. So
I think maybe we should just walk through the door. She can see us. We got to figure out if that's good or bad. And the door's not moving.
you figure out if it's good or bad. These people worship death.
Yeah, but it said justice on the door. So, like, good.
A lot of people
Faustus
think
kind of
justice
steps
is-
up and
oh.
says, "Death is a completely
right.
natural thing. It is neither good nor bad. It just is."
Unless you're the one that's dead, and then it's not good.
Now, if you're
Thank you.
undead, then that's bad.
Oy.
But they
All
don't
right.
know we're undead yet. They wouldn't know we're undead unless we tell them. Unless
Look,
they sense it. But we're like alive. We're not like zombie.
and I understand, Icarus, that you are a healer, religious person.
The name's Faustus.
Faustus, isn't that what I said?
No, you said Icarus.
Icarus.
But
Take your wax
it just
wings.
kind of makes me not trust Camel Toe right now, because okay. I don't know if that's him. That's the thing. All I see is there's three people, one of them staring at me. That's all I know.
All right, let's see. I say we just kind of keep an eye and see what that hooded figure does. If she starts moving too close to him, or if we see other people, then I think we should go through the door. But right now, let's just kind of see how it plays out.
Okay. We'll wait 5 minutes and we will
Well,
stare
we'll wait
through the
and
door.
see how it goes, and then we'll make the decision when we need to.
Okay. You wait 5, 10, 15 minutes. Her gaze never seems to leave your soul.
She just
Neither-
is staring at us the whole
Yeah.
time.
She's staring at you.
I think she wants us to
You
come
gotta
through.
go. Clearly, she wants to murder us. I mean, that's just right.
I don't see any weapons. Maybe.
As, Hamilton, as you are sitting there twiddling your thumbs, Volker looks at you and says, "Stop fidgeting. I have taught you better than this."
Sorry, I'm getting patient.
Okay, so yeah, I don't want this chick to stare at my soul anymore, so I'm gonna
Wave.
step through the door.
Just wave. See if she does anything.
I'll wave before I walk through the door.
Minutes.
You said you're waving or waiting.
Hello.
You see her before you even step through the door. She raises a gentle hand back at you.
See, she's looking right at us, Soros. Come on.
She is.
Let's
Okay.
just go. They're
I'm
expecting
stepping through the door.
it some way.
Did she just wave at nothing?
All in good
Dude.
time, my child. As you step through the door, Faustus will follow right behind you. When you step through, you kind of get a chill that runs down your spine. The beach weather is very, it's very warm, it's humid, it's tropical. But when you come into the cemetery, it is cold, it is damp. You do hear kind of a whisper of the wind through the trees.
Oh, no, yeah, I didn't have to trade little Debbie's cake.
And apparently they have little Debbie's.
Sorry.
But you just get that chill that runs down your spine going from a really warm place to a just cold and damp surrounding. And you do get a better look once you step through the door at the three figures. There is the one that was staring at you is in a bone white robe, and you also do see a dwarf who is wearing very ornate plate armor. On his shield is an image of a hand holding a set of scales that are perfectly in balance. And standing next to the dwarf is actually a third person that you recognize. It is a half-orc. He is wearing armor, but it's nowhere near as ornate as the dwarves' armor. It's just simple chainmail. You see a long sword fastened at his waist. And they are currently The woman still feel like her eyes never left you, but now the dwarf and the half-orc kind of turn in your direction.
Those people just appear out of thin air.
All in good time.
No. At this point, I'm going to start to not move forward. I'm just going to hold my staff and just let everybody else walk around me. And as I will do an aside to Azair and say that's camel toe.
I mean, it's there. You recognize him. You remember him. You recognize him. You've
I'm
seen
just
him
saying.
before. So you're basically just kind of staying there. Is anyone moving forward, or are you all just staying where you are?
I mean,
I'll start moving forward.
yeah.
I'll come forward.
Okay. As you start moving forward, the lady starts, or the hooded figure, cloaked figure starts walking towards you as well. But it's kind of unnerving watching her walk, because you don't actually see her feet move or any motion from her leg area that would actually give.
She's gliding.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like she's just kind of gliding, but she's doing it extremely gracefully through the headstones as the dwarf follows behind, and I'm assuming Hamilton follows behind the dwarf. Yes, Seth.
I'm going to summon my lights, and I'm just going to have my 3 red orbs moving around me.
Okay.
I'm going to aside to the group and ask how we want to approach this, because it didn't work so well with Faustus before.
Oh, I think we should try to keep some distance. So I put my hand up and say that's close enough.
So at this point, she's probably about 10 feet away from you.
Okay.
She lowers her hood, and the sight is a little surprising. Her skin is alabaster white. She is bald, no hair anywhere, no eyelashes, eyebrows, nothing. And her eyes, the ones that just felt like they were gazing into your soul, are just entirely black. And she smiles and says, "Welcome, adventurers. You have all arrived, just as it was foretold you would."
How could you see
Hello.
us? How did you see us before we came through?
Well, we here serve Kelimvor, the Lord of Death. With serving the Lord of Death, we gain certain insights into the living and the dead. We have been told that we would be visited by those that have once escaped death and would need our help. And she looks to you first, Zoros, and says, "Zoros, it is nice to meet you again." She looks to Azair. "Azair, it is lovely to see you." And she looks to Faustus and says, "Faustus, you do such good work. You have all experienced death, and yet here you stand. If I am not mistaken, you were here for this one." And she motions Hamilton forward to stand next to her. "He has also experienced death, even if he does not yet know it. But do not be afraid. My lord does not begrudge you your second lives. He knows your quest is an important one, and he would like to see you succeed on your journey. However, at this time, we unfortunately cannot let Hamilton go. The time is not quite right. But as it so happens, we could use the help of a group of adventurers such as yourself to pass the time until the door opens, if you are willing."
What kind of quest?
So Hamilton, yeah, you're as confused as you look. You have absolutely no idea what she is talking about at all.
Sacrifice.
So, oh God, I died, but oh,
It is best not to think too hard about it.
You got
Just
better.
know that our Lord does
in the
everything
future.
for a reason.
We'll explain it eventually, hopefully.
They so
So Zoros, you ask what kind of quest. She motions for the dwarf to step forward, and he bows to all of you before speaking. And he says, "Hello, my name is Volker. We at the Temple of Kalimvor follow his teachings. He is a fair and just deity. Every life has its purpose, as does every death. However, there are those that like to meddle in the balance of life and death. They create undeath and remove what rightfully belongs to our Lord. We have gotten word of a nest of bone naga, foul undead creatures whose very existence is a spit at the boots of our Lord. We know of their location. We just do not have the numbers to help to be able to eradicate them. We would like to help you to slay these creatures and help to sanctify the ground that they inhabited to ensure that they do not rise again."
I have
How many of them are there?
That's not my question. My question is, if your God is the God of death, can't he just go over there and say, hey, guess what? You're all dead.
The problem with the bone nagas is that they are not necessarily dead, nor are they alive. So they fall outside of his realm. They are in the in-between of undeath, and that does not sit well for my lord. We know of about 3 bone nagas that have created a nest and are trying to work on creating more. We need to sanctify the ground to stop them from doing that.
I'll help.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, Eth. It'll be an adventure.
Oh,
It brings us
fun.
closer together
But-
as a group. It'll be like family.
And we really need you, because if we need a fire, we can't count on us there.
sounds like you struggle with fire. But
That's so rude. Why are you gonna
It's
be so
funny
mean?
because it's true.
I
You were
can
able to
my
produce
fire
it that
in my
one
hair,
time.
and that's where it stays. I have a hard time letting go of it. It keeps me warm.
It's true. All right, look. So I'm talking to the dwarf at this point. If we go, y'all got to tell your God not to mess with us. I'm not here to mess with no God of death. I'm not all up in that shiz.
Apparently, you don't know how gods really work.
No.
We don't tell the gods what to do. They
Well,
decree things
these are-
upon us. Would you like an aunt to tell you what to do?
I have many times, and uncles.
Like,
Well, let's just assume that the God of Death wants us done. He hired us, or has us trying to help him do it. Chances are he's not going to mess with us trying to do it. He probably won't help us much, but by gosh, we're gonna.
He's not our god, so I wouldn't expect him to. I've got him.
You have a God as there?
They're the gods of the forest.
That doesn't really help
I've got a
us.
question.
Point, though,
You
does it?
want us to go on this quest, and you want us to take care of these goblin things. Do you? You said you don't have the manpower to do it. How many men can you spare to help us?
well, first they're bone naga, not goblins. Nowhere did I say goblins.
Wait,
The
can you say it one more
only
time? Because I heard goblins, not nagas.
bone nagas,
Nagas.
Nagas. Okay.
nagas,
Like the snake
N-A-G-A-S,
things.
bone nagas.
It
Bone
was
Uh,
the dead-on German accent that threw y'all. That was the problem.
It mixes
I thought he was
between
Irish.
Irish, Indian, maybe a little bit of Scottish, and then back to regular English. It's
called Irish.
See,
I'm
I thought
trying.
you were just drinking,
I'm trying.
Dungeon Master. I didn't.
I'm never
I
good with
loved it.
accents.
I got it right away.
He says, unfortunately, it will just be you and me and Hamilton that'll be going to eradicate the Nagas.
Do you know how, besides sanctifying the land, how do we defeat them? Does that defeat them, or do we need to like light them on fire or salt them or bless them with holy oil, or what do you guys do around here?
I mean, we generally just kill them with our weapons.
Like stab them?
Um,
But if they're
But they're
undead though, how
undead.
can we kill them?
once we get them to the unconscious point by sanctifying the land, it will stop them from being able to rise again.
Ah,
What do you know? What do you know about these Nagas?
I know that they're not a force to be reckoned with. They are
Of course not.
dangerous
Can't make it
creatures.
too easy, can we?
Of
We're
course.
talking about poison, fangs, claws, weapons, range. To fill us in, we need some details on how these things, so we have a plan.
Well, bone nagas tend to just be large skeletal nagas. They're usually around 10 feet long, pretty big.
So they're animals. I don't know what a naga is. I've never seen one, as far as I'm aware.
Imagine the biggest snake you have ever seen.
Oh, snake. That's nice.
A
And
centaur
remove
with a
all-
snake body, right?
Remove all flesh, muscles, everything. It is
I
just
think I just threw up a little in my
skeletal.
mouth.
okay.
Ugh.
Like a vampire.
Do they possess magic? Do they cast? Can they heal? Are they
Some of them can, some of them can't. It just depends on the variety of naga that there are.
have you seen these Nagas?
We have not. We have sent some people to try and deal with them, and they did not come back. So
Cool.
we are the last attempt.
Will
Send the
you
new
guys
in.
care sanctifying stuff, or do you need our help to like circle up? How do you guys sanctify? Do we need help with that, or
We have a ritual that will consecrate the ground. We
Okay.
just need to kill the bone nagas to be able to consecrate the ground first.
Cool.
Kill the giant snake people that are, by the way, made of bones.
Well, it is
Everything's
right in their
got
name,
bones.
the bone naga.
Oh, Zoros.
Come on, bones
I
break.
mean, and that's mine don't. I
Are
make
you
sure to
sure that
stay away from
these are the folks
anything that
we
could
really want to
potentially
help us?
break my bones. The only
You
reason
totally
why
got
I'm
this.
okay with helping you is just to open the door to get back onto that beach.
Hamilton,
You'll understand.
High Priestess, smiles at you and says, "Fear not, you little one. They are more formidable than they appear."
They're what?
Good.
We're
More
formidable.
formidable than us?
You're talking about us, right? Not the Nagas.
This is between Hamilton and the High Priestess. You're talking
Oh.
with Volker.
I say we go. Let's take care of this. Get it
I
done.
mean, I'm assuming we need to in order to bring Cameltail with us.
Who?
You. Sorry, I know it's my thick German accent. Sometimes people can't understand me.
Flawless.
Thank you. But okay, sure. We'll go.
Let's head that way. Can you lead
How,
us?
how far is it?
It is a couple hours walk from the temple grounds.
Can we montage it?
We can montage it.
What time is it?
Montage.
Dream sequence, exactly.
It's a little hard to tell, being how overcast it is. From your best guess, you would say maybe noon, 1 o'clock.
Midday? Okay.
Yeah.
So a
but
couple
it-
hours gets us there in broad daylight, right?
Yes.
Do we know if these Nagas can have night vision? Can they see in the dark?
Volker says, I don't know. I try not to come out this way in the dark.
Well, I think that's an advantage that we have.
You want to attack them at night?
I don't know. I kind of think it worked pretty good with the bandits, but then again, Eth and Faustus can't see in the dark, so. Let's just go. Let's just eradicate these snakes.
I mean, I can have, like, when stuff happens, I can bring up my light to at least have a little bit of light around me. But I would need to hold on to one of y'all probably while we're walking, just to not lose my way if we're doing it in the night.
What do you think, Azar?
I mean, I feel like we have the disadvantage no matter what because none of us have ever really dealt with these. I mean, if this is as bright as it gets, then okay. But if it's going to get darker, how hard is bone to see in the dark? I'm afraid that we're not going to be able to hit anything.
Can you see your
All right.
When it's yours, probably really good.
What?
Like, oh my God, one of my arm bones is sticking out.
You can see your hand in the dark, but that's different than like a slithery thing. We don't know its skills. Like, what if it can like hide itself? Maybe that's why it's eaten so many people.
Well,
Or
That's
Seems to me-
terrifying.
seems to me you have the ability to maybe circle above and kind of get an idea of what we're getting into.
I can't circle above, but I can try and sneak through if it's like sneakable area in a small form. I can also potentially help us pass without trace dungeon master. I don't know. It says I need components. Does that mean I can't cast it? It's pass without trace.
Yeah. Let me see what is required of it. Okay, no. So with you should have a spell casting focus. And basically what that does is that takes the place of any materials that a spell needs as long as the material does not have a gold cost to it. For example, there are some like higher level spells that like a cleric, paladin, and possibly even you could get to that require like a diamond worth 500 gold. So as long as the components do not list a specific gold amount, then your focus will take the place of those components.
Okay. So I can cloak us all up to 30 feet from me. And we can't be tracked except by magical means. And I'm guessing the Bonagas are slightly magical at least, but I don't know how much. But I could try and keep us stealthy.
So what Pass Without a Trace does is it adds a +10 to a stealth roll.
Okay.
So if you guys are trying to stealth and sneak through the area, when you roll a stealth check, everybody would get a +10 to that roll.
Okay. Cool.
Good. Then let's save that. That's good to know. Let's start wandering up that way, start looking, see if we can track these things, if we can see signs that they pass through the area so we know when we're getting close. And let's go ahead and do it in the day so we can see better for tracking when we get there and we identify where they're at. Let's say a safe distance. Let's try to figure out what we're getting up against, get a look at them, and then kind of decide from there best course of action.
Cool.
Okay. So after a couple hours of walk, you notice that the ground becomes marshy and flooded. There are still kind of patches of dry land that kind of wind through this area that you can see could be kind of like a cart trail type of thing. But it is just like marsh and swampland on either side of the trail. After a little bit of walking through the swamplands, give me a perception check.
Just anybody?
Yeah, anybody give me a perception check.
12.
16?
19.
16.
Okay. It's pretty easy to notice that as you get in a little bit deeper into the marsh area, the normal sounds of insects, frogs, just other wildlife that you've been hearing up until this point suddenly stop. And it is just eerily quiet.
Except we're sloshing through this watery ground.
I mean, I figure you're probably walking on the trail.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, please.
Unless Seth wants to go swimming.
So Volcor raises his hand and kind of says in a low whisper that I don't know why I did Irish for the low whisper, but still, that he says we're getting close to the Nagas area. So I would recommend that you get ready, whatever you need to get ready, because once it starts, it's only one way it's going to end.
Okay. Justice is out.
And you see Volcor does bring out a maul, and he has his actually he puts his shield behind him, and he just has his maul out that he's brandishing with two hands.
You want me to go scout ahead?
Yeah. How many? One more time. How many times can you shift?
I can shift twice. I can hold each form for an hour. So I can be small, I'm thinking frog, since we heard some already, and scout
We
ahead.
haven't heard any frogs. Actually, that's a bad idea. I just thought of that. If they see something crawling around, there is nothing crawling around.
I thought we heard them and then they went quiet.
Yeah, like we don't see or hear anything anymore because we're close to the Nagas.
But I should be able to blend in the marsh.
Yeah, and they might try to eat you.
I don't know what bone nagas usually eat.
I don't know either, but if there's nothing around us, they probably cleared out the area or scared everything off. So it's going to draw attention if you're a live animal coming close to their den. That's probably...
Yeah, that's the smallest I've got to scout ahead. Does anybody else?
Problem is small means slow. So if you get like a frog or a squirrel and they see you and they detect something's up and they try to squish you, you're going to get squished.
True.
Just saying. I mean, we can try it if you want to, but I'm not super comfortable with sending an animal into a completely barren, lifeless area and not have it be out of place. It defeats the purpose. I think we're better off going in with your stealth mode thing and see if we can sneak up, get a good look at the camp without being detected, and then initiate a surprise attack.
Yeah, we could do that. How does everybody else feel?
I'm down.
As you are talking about this, everyone give me a perception check.
Not me. 3.
10.
Oh no. No, I don't remember what it is. 19. That's one of my heightened.
What'd you get, Hamilton?
I got 16.
So Hamilton and Azair, as you guys are standing there, you hear, you start to pick up a sound coming from 3 different directions. It sounds like something quickly moving through water. And as you hear that, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh no.
18.
Hold on.
You have 0 to initiative. It's not.
14.
Hold on.
Yeah, he's gonna do the number, column number.
It's been a while. I've been dead. I'm sorry.
Uh, 25 to 20.
I gotta see what my bonus is. Where is that? Abilities and
It
saves?
should be, no, it actually should be up by your armor class.
Oh, +1, 19. So no,
Okay. 20 to 15.
19.
Okay.
Now the fact that we're stealth, we don't have any bonus, or do we attack with advantage?
You did not get a chance to stealth before they heard you talking about what the plan was.
We didn't do a good job, guys.
So that was 20 to 15, 15 to 10.
14.
14.
Really? Yeah.
Azair, what's your dex modifier? And Hamilton, what's your dex modifier?
You said
Dexterity modifier.
Yeah.
It is +2 for me.
And Hamilton, what was yours?
+0.
Okay, so Azair is going first. Beth, what'd you get?
I rolled a 4.
You rolled a
Killing
4.
it.
Do you have any bonuses to it, or is it just a 4?
No, I rolled a 2.
Oh, okay.
Plus the 2
Okay.
initiative is a
Okay.
4.
Well, you are still sadly going before Faustus, who got a 4 and has no dex modifier. So,
Oh, nice.
so as you are talking about what you are going to do, I will show you what decides to show its face. So coming from 3 directions are 3 bone nagas
Lovely.
that look like that.
Sexy.
Yep, they would have eaten as a frog.
Yep. Your frog body would have been eaten. I don't know where they would have put you, but
And
I mean, we don't
this
know they
is
eat
where we are. So A, B, and C are the bone nagas. And then this is your party here, and I am missing someone on it. So give me 2, oops, wrong map.
question for the DM.
Yes.
The ground off the path, do we have disadvantage or issues staying in the, moving across the non-path?
No. No,
Okay.
it's not very deep water.
Okay.
Okay. So we start top of the round is Zoros.
Okay, I can't reach one, correct?
Correct. You are right here, circled in green.
Okay. So I'll pull out guns of my father
Okay.
and I will shoot at B.
Happy. Okay.
12 plus 14.
That does not hit, unfortunately. You hear a massive bang, but the shot goes wide. Next, we have Bone Naga A. Okay, can only get about there. At which point as the Bone Naga moves up, you see a kind of around its mouth area, you see like a little kind of white light forming. And you see a beam of blue, light white that streaks towards Volker, but misses.
Crap.
At which point it is Volker's turn. So he's gonna chuckle a little bit and say, "Come on, laddie, let's fight." And he is going to attack Bone Naga A. So let's see. Gotta look something up because never played a paladin before. So he kind of swings with his maul, and as he does that, you actually see a white light kind of surround the tip of his maul, and as it makes contact, you hear you kind of see a little explosion, and you hear the Bone Naga just let out this otherworldly shriek of pain.
Good job.
As he deals 28 points of damage to the Bone Naga.
Nice.
And he does his next attack. And you see that white light pump forward again. As you see him do another 21 points of damage. And you see this Bone Naga is the bone's starting to chip, break off in places. It is looking rough. And that is Volker's turn. So now we are at there.
Question, how far away is are B and C from us?
B is about 45 feet away from you. They're both about 40, 45 feet away from you.
Okay, so I am going to yell at the group. I can hold them while you hit them because I'm not strong enough. And I am going to, which token is me on there? Which one am I?
The one with the green circle around it.
So I'm gonna cast Entangle at C.
Okay. So you watch as Zara starts casting, and you see these weeds and vines just shoot out from the water, and try to start wrapping themselves around the bone naga. What's your saving throw DC? Your spell save DC?
13.
So as they try and reach out and grab them, you see them kind of miss. It's looking for that flesh to grab onto, but it's not finding it. So you do see all these weeds growing out of that area. However, the bone naga is not wrapped up in it.
Dang it. Sorry,
But it
guys.
does make it difficult terrain. Let me draw.
Is that how good fire goes too?
So where do you want to put this square?
I was trying to put it,
Kind of between you and that.
trying to put it mostly like, I guess on the other side of the dot so that the rest of the terrain was back behind it. Yeah, like there-ish.
Okay.
To hold it in place, but we had space to run up.
Okay. Yeah. So this area is now filled with weeds and vines and stuff coming up. It is considered difficult terrain, so moving around in it takes extra movement while you are in it. Is there anything else you're doing? Is there?
No, I think that's it. This question for the DM, it says the duration is concentration up to 1 minute, but I can't find anything that says what my concentration is.
So a concentration spell is something you are focusing on it for that minute. If you take damage, you have to roll a Constitution saving throw to see if you can maintain concentration. If
Okay.
you lose concentration, or if you choose to drop concentration, the spell effect just ends.
Okay.
So you can't cast 2 concentration spells at the same time. Basically, one would just cancel out the other. But you can cast other non-concentration spells while you have a concentration spell that you're focusing on.
Okay. Actually then, since that didn't catch him.
It's still difficult terrain, so it's still going to use more of his movement to be able to move out of it. So he would
Okay.
easily not be able to get to you guys in this.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
If it got
It'll-
him at least a little bit.
Yeah, it'll still hinder his movement. He's just
Okay.
not rooted in place.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Hamilton.
Thank you.
Oh, actually, sorry. It's not your turn. It is Bone Naga B's turn. And you see, similar to the first Bone Naga, you see a beam of white blue light shoot out from its mouth directed towards Zoros. Zoros, does a 17 hit you?
Do I have a saving throw?
No, it's just it's an attack.
Then yes.
So the white light hits you, and you just get you feel an extreme cold. You take 3 cold damage, and your speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of your next turn.
Is reduced to what?
by 10 feet until the start of your next turn, which really doesn't matter because
He'll
your
be
next
in
turn
range,
you're going to
okay.
get it back anyway. So, okay, now Hamilton, it's your turn.
Okay. I am going to go after Naga A and see if I can't take my best shot at Naga A.
What's your speed?
30.
30. You'd be able to get here, not quite where Naga A is. He's still about 5 feet away from you.
Would I have been able to reach Naga B from where I was?
Yes, easily.
Okay. I guess I will go after Naga B then and take a swing at Naga B.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Oh. That one.
Okay. You swing and miss. You are a little distracted. You've never actually seen a Naga or bone Naga in person. So you are a little terrified of it. You may have peed a little.
Oh.
So that is Hamilton, and now we are up to C. Okay, C is only going to be able to get about that far. As you're watching, especially as you're watching this Naga, you see its eyes start to kind of glow a bright red. Give me a wisdom saving throw, Azair.
+3, a non-natural 20.
Okay. You start to feel like your body kind of tense up a little bit. And as the Naga's eyes kind of flare brighter, you feel the effect a little bit stronger, but you manage to kind of, clear your mind and shrug off what it was that they were trying to do. So that is Naga C's turn. So now we are at F.
I'll point my finger at A and shoot an ice knife at her.
Okay. Is that a save or is it a spell attack?
It's both actually. So 23 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay, so it takes 4 damage, and then I need for it to do a dexterity saving throw.
14.
Unfortunately, that does save. So that's all that happens.
Okie dokie. So you see the shards of ice kind of start to crystallize on the Naga, but it's looking rough. Faustus is going to go to B because it's the one he's closest to. Let me see what Faustus can do. You see Faustus reach out and kind of touch the bone naga bee. And he says some just kind of a very guttural words that you can't quite make out. And you see this bone naga bee let out a long shriek of just agony as Faustus casts inflict wounds at level 2. And that is his turn. So back up to the top of the round, Zoros.
Okay, I have a movement speed of 25. Can I get to A?
No, you would be able to get to
Okay,
right
B
here.
then.
Okay.
14, 16.
That will hit.
For 6.
Okay. Zoros.
Hang on
oh,
1 second. 1 second. Let me just double check because I had I gotta look at my damage. I thought I had +4 on my damage.
You should be a D12 plus 4.
Okay, yeah, because I rolled a 2, so
Okay.
yeah, 6.
Volkor's turn. He is going to make another attack at the bone naga. Okay. You do not see the white
I'm
light.
sorry, question for the DM.
Yeah.
So my where is it? So my weapon does 1d12 plus 4. Is that +4 plus my strength bonus?
No, the +4 is your strength bonus.
Okay, I just wanted to double check.
No worries. So you hear Volkor kind of laughing, and he takes another swing with his maul, and the bone naga just shatters. And he walks over towards Bone Naga C and takes his second attack on Bone Naga C. And hits, and this time you do see the white light radiating from his maw.
He's a bad dude. Glad he's on our team.
And he does 27 points of damage to Bone Naga C. Okay. And that is Volker's turn, so we are up to Azair.
I'm taking bets if Volkar kills all 3 of them.
Sorry,
Oh, you're fine.
we were muted. So let me see. I am going to head towards Naga C. Or
Okay.
see how close can I get to Naga C?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna just do a attack with my scimitar.
Okay.
Yeah, don't use that one. That one.
Yeah, so that's 14 and 18.
18 will hit.
And then a d6 plus 2, 5, so 7 damage. It says next to your weapon.
7 damage to C.
Correct.
It is now Bone Naga
Is it this?
B's turn. It is currently surrounded by 3 people. Um, so Bone Naga B is actually going to move over. So Hamilton, you get an attack of opportunity on it. So go ahead and make an attack. And Faustus would get one as well.
16.
Yes.
That will hit.
And then roll a D.
D8 for damage. D8 is 4. So 10.
Okay, cool. Cool. It is not looking good. You can kind of see, it doesn't really have eyes, but you can kind of notice the erratic movement. It is starting to panic a bit. And now that he has moved where he wants to, I need Faustus, Zoros, and Hamilton to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, I have a little green thing that says on decks against effects that you can see while not blinded.
Yep,
deafened,
danger
or-
sense. Yep, danger sense would apply for this, so you do have advantage on the roll.
So what's the bonus?
You roll twice and take the higher score.
I rolled a 15.
Okay.
3 and a 17. So
Good for the advantage.
yeah, thank God. Although I rolled the 17 first.
So as you kind of see this, you see this light kind of crackle, and you hear the sound of thunder, and you hear the smell of ozone as this Bone Naga lets loose a lightning bolt in the 3 of y'all's direction. Hamilton and Zoros, you each take 16 points of lightning damage.
Good God.
I didn't save with a 17.
No, you save
19.
16. Faustus takes
Crap.
31 points of lightning damage, and he drops unconscious on the ground.
Well, goddamn.
So that is Bone Naga B's turn. Now we are at Hamilton.
Oh, good God. Well, I'm gonna attack Naga B. So question for the DM.
Yes.
A special, is that something that I can just say this is what I'm gonna do, and I have divine smite, I could use.
So divine smite, what you do with that is you would you'd roll your attack first.
Mhm.
And when you hit a creature with a melee weapon, then you can use a spell slot to pump in divine smite.
Gotcha. So it's I don't have to waste it if I'm not hitting.
Exactly. It only goes into effect if you hit. You would know, Hamilton, all the times that you saw Volker's maul glow white, it was him pumping in divine smites.
That's what I was thinking that was.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead and attack Naga B.
Okay.
It is a 17.
That'll hit.
And I will go ahead and cast Divine Smite whenever I attack it.
Okay, so roll your damage and then also add 2d8.
So I need 2 more.
Is this one the D8?
Yes. I need 1 more. This guy here. 11.
Okay, you see Hamilton come up with his long sword, and you see the same white radiating energy from his sword, and he just cleaves into Bone Naga B, and its bones just turn to dust, and it dies. Anything else you want to do, Hamilton?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, we are now on to Bone Naga C. You see Bone Naga C's eyes glow red. And Volker needs to make a save. You see Volker's muscles kind of tense up a little bit, but he just kind of shakes his head and shakes off the effect. It did not seem to bother him. So that is Bone Naga C's turn. Now we are on F.
So there's just the one Bone Naga left.
Correct.
So I will point at that and I will shoot out some scorching rays at that one.
Okay.
15.
That'll hit.
For 9 damage.
Okay.
The next one is a 19 to hit
That'll hit.
for 7 damage.
Okay.
And then the last one is only an 8 to hit.
That will not.
Okay.
Faustus needs to make a death saving throw, which he does not succeed. Okay. So we are back up to the top of the round with Zoros.
I make my way towards him. I can only go 25 feet, so I can't get close enough to hit him.
Yeah, he'd be about right.
You know what? I'm going to move up, and I have hand axes. I'm going to throw a hand axe.
Okay.
And I am not good with hand axes, evidently.
Okay. It is then Volker's turn. Volker just says, let's end this. You see Volker make 2 large swipes with his maul, and the Bone Naga just just crumbles in the ground. He kind of looks around and says, is everybody okay? He sees Faustus laying on the ground unconscious, so he will go over to Faustus, and you see this white light just kind of radiate from his hands, and he put his hands on Faustus's chest, and you see Faustus just draw in a gasp of air as he casts Lay on Hands to bring Faustus up to 1 hit point. So Faustus is now conscious again. And he says, right, okay, let us get with the consecration. And he nods to Hamilton and the two of them start setting up this ritual that takes about 10 minutes to cast. And during that time, this whole area has just been gray and just very very damp, very dark. But as this ritual is cast, you see the clouds kind of part a little bit, and this just ray of light just kind of centers on the whole area around you. And you don't really feel anything, but you can kind of take it as an interesting omen, as they are performing the ritual. As they're done, Volker stands up and just kind of wipes some sweat off of his brow, and he says, "Right, guess we better head back now, shouldn't we?"
Do they have a lair?
Not that we know of. Usually they just create nests in the swamp.
Do we see a nest? Is there any armor from the paladins that came before us? Is there anything of value?
If you want to spend time searching through the swamp, you can. Give me a investigation check.
I always want to look, but I never do very good when I look. 4.
You don't find anything. You can see kind of the bones laying about that you think might be their nests, but that's about all that you find. So Volker leads you back through the swamplands, back to the temple. At which point the high priestess smiles and greets you and says, "I knew you would be successful. It has been foretold." She says, "You have my thanks and the appreciation of my lord. We have but a short time left together, but in that time I have been permitted to grant you a reward for your aid." And she walks to each of you and hands you a small gray stone. And carved into the face of the stone is the symbol of Kelimvor. It is a skeletal hand holding a scale that is perfectly in balance. Hamilton, when she gives you your stone, she gives you 2 extra stones, and she tells you these are for companions who you have not yet met. Stay true to the path of Kelimvor, judge fairly and justly. She looks, you kind of see her kind of look up and look over your shoulders, and you see a sad smile kind of touch her face. And she says, "It looks like our time here has finished. If you would, before you go, kneel." And while she's talking, the rest of you 4, you hear the familiar click, and you see the sunlight streaming in behind you. And if you were to look behind you, you would see the door. And Hamilton, you also hear a click, and if you look behind you, you see a weird doorway that is leading out to a very brightly lit beach scene. But the high priestess has asked you to kneel.
Of course, obliged.
She walks up to you and she places her finger to your forehead, and she says, "This is also for you. Stay true to the path of Kelimvor, judge fairly and justly, and be not afraid of death, for death is inevitable, and death will greet you like a welcome friend." And as she removes her finger, you feel strangely invigorized. You feel comforted, as if someone had just kind of like wrapped their arms around you in a very protective and loving way. And you, Hamilton, can go to your feats section. Let's see how this will work.
Feats.
Yes.
Turn to our website.
Let me see if I can.
Might be in your, the,
Skills.
it might be in extras.
Hold on, we need to. No, it should still work.
We aren't finding it.
Okay. hold
Where
on,
would
let
I
me-
find my feats?
It should be under features and
Features
traits,
and traits.
and then feats.
Did you check your shoes?
Wah.
Dad jokes.
Feats.
I know.
There we go. Okay. I have no feats.
Okay, I'm trying to find it. I created one for you.
Fancy.
You have no feats chosen. You can add feats outside of normal progression in the manage screen. So is that
Try to go to the website version. Now click on that, yeah, and then do features. Go to features.
manage feats? There you go.
Yeah, but the problem is it's not showing up. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. I see it now. Okay, go back to your feats and see if you see it there now. It should just be in your feats.
Yes,
You see the blessing of Kellenvor?
I do.
Awesome. So she stands up and says that you have now been blessed by our Lord, and it is time for you to take your leave. I wish you luck in your quest, and you will always have a home here. And Volker stands, kind of comes up to you and says, "Well, laddie, it's been fun these years. I want you to take this." And he holds out his shield to you. That is a pretty ornate shield. It has the symbol of Kellenvor on it. It's not a magic shield or anything. It's a shield. He likes it. It's his shield. And he says, I hope one day we get to meet again, whether it be in this life or the next.
I hope we can.
And he looks to the rest of you and says, well, folks, it was fun. Take care of Hamilton here. And you guys always have a safe place to stay in the Temple of Kellenvor if you need it. Good luck on your quest. I'll see you on the other side.
See, if it all turned out, we're all nervous.
So
I'm still turning around and walking back through the door.
Don't you want to stay in the Lord of Death's castle for a few days?
You
Enjoy
see F turn
enjoy the
around and
overcast.
all of a sudden you see him disappear and he is now standing on the beach.
All right.
that's still weird.
It's okay.
Faustus follows and goes through the door as well, and now you see Faustus on the beach.
I'm on my way too.
And Zoros is now on the beach.
I'm gonna wait for Hamilton to go through the door so that he actually goes through the door and doesn't think it's a trick.
I guess I'll slowly make my way up to the door and kind of examine it, and then slowly walk through the door.
Okay. As you walk through the door, your feet land on fresh sand. It is hot. It is humid because you are at the beach. The scent of the beach hits your nose right away. And as you step through, your head starts to hurt as memories of a past life that you died in, but yet you're here, you're alive. You've grown up worshiping the Lord of the Dead, but this is just a very weird experience for you. And with all of these memories that are kind of coming flooding back to you, you kind of see a figure standing a little bit down the beach. He's kind of in like these black robes. You can't see his face, and you're getting a very just warm presence from him. And he says, "Fear not, my child. You will do great things." And he just disappears. And from you get the sense that was an image of Kellenvor reaching out to you in this confusing time. But you are on the beach, as there you saw him step through and land on the beach.
So I'll follow through.
Okay. As there steps through, the door swings shut and you hear a loud click. And you guys are now all standing back on the beach.
Yes.
I remember you guys now.
We're not really sure exactly where we are. However, we do know that there's 2 more people we need to find, and we have to look for a door in the sand and get them back to fill our party so we can go finish our quest.
So, how long has it been since I died?
47 years.
Ugh.
No, we don't know
Don't
that.
listen to him.
We don't know.
It's a mystery.
You all age very gracefully.
I'll tell him everything that happened after they died.
And-
I'll also hand him his tarot card.
Okay.
And I believe I have another gun in my pack that once belonged to him as well.
You do.
So then I will take that out and
Okay. Hamilton, if it's not in your inventory already, you can go to your equipment, manage equipment, and add in the guns of my father, or the guns of your father, one of the two. I can't remember what I named it. But you'll be able to add that back in there. And Hamilton, one thing you do notice is that while F is exactly as you remember him, Zoros, Faustus, and Azair actually look younger than you remember them.
Yes.
And Faustus says, I don't know about you, but I'm still, kind of hurt from the lightning. If you wouldn't mind if we could go sleep, because I need it.
No.
Yeah, I took a pretty good hit too. I think that's a good idea.
Shake it off. Good wuss.
Okay, so you guys can set up take a long rest easily enough. And you guys still do have those stones that
Yeah,
the high priestess gave you.
Yeah, what is that?
I asked Hamilton what those stones are.
I'll be honest, I'm not real sure. I'm kind of as confused as you are. It's a sign of, I'm assuming it's a favor or a blessing from Kellenvor that or whenever
who wants mine?
I'll take it if you don't want it.
See, I
Absolutely,
didn't
I'll hand it right
ask
back to you.
because I figured you knew what they were. Oh man.
Ben,
I've
sorry, F. Give me an Arcana check.
Non-nat 20.
You do get a pretty strong magical vibe from these. It has an aura of divine magic radiating from it.
Necromancy.
You know enough about magic to know that divine and necromancy are two completely different things.
It came from the god of death.
Who abhors undead. Do you have identify? I don't know if you have it at this point.
1 moment, please. Oh, it's a ritual. Yes.
So I mean, it's up to you if you want to.
Yeah, I can spend 10 minutes trying to figure out what this hunk of rock is before I throw it back to Camel Toe.
So as you cast identify on it, the magic you can tell is old. It is beyond old magic, and what you get from it is upon true death, the stone will crack and the aura will disappear from the stone, and you will be brought back to life.
Okay.
Nice.
So I will, I'll create that item and I'll put it in each of your inventory so you have it.
Now-
But it's basically a one-time true death, brings it back up.
Question for the DM
Yes.
is, like what happened to Faustus?
Yes.
He went unconscious.
Correct. So
Would
what happens
that-
if you drop to 0 hit points? You go unconscious. At which point, every round you have to make a death saving throw unless you are healed and brought back up. If you succeed 3 death saving throws, then you are stable, meaning you're still at 0 hit points, but you're not dying. If you fail 3 death saving throws, you are dead. True death.
Okay. Okay.
So-
So
It's not unconscious. The stone will protect you from true death once.
okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Kellenvor is he's the god of death, but he's not the god of causing death. He is the god of the sanctity of death.
Well, thank you.
So the next day comes. You guys are on the beach. You know the normal path towards what you would follow.
And we're going.
Well, I think we should spend one day in the sun. Hamilton looks like he needs some sun. He's a little pale.
I don't think 1 day will be enough for him.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's green, so I don't really know how pale you can get green.
Does the
All right,
blue
let's go
guy.
find a door.
So after a couple hours of wandering on the beach, you see another door. This one is made of solid oak. Carved into the front of the door is an image of a massive tree reaching into the heavens. On one of the branches is a rope that is hanging taut. Attached to the rope is a man hanging by his neck. From the chest of the man, a vine is sprouting buds. And then carved above the image are the words, "The Hanged Man."
Wow. Okay.
Pretty sure I know who this one's for.
Got a card for this one?
I should in my pack. Yes, I'll open my pack and look at I should have 2 tarot cards left.
You do. You have the Hanged Man and you have the Wheel of Fortune.
All right. So I take out the hanged man and I touch the door.
You hear a loud click.
I open the door.
Slides just as easily as all the other doors have. And when you open the door, you look through, you could see a city that looks like none other. You saw, well, most of you saw Ludmark, and it looked pretty advanced, but this city looks leaps and bounds more advanced than that one did. Tall metal structures climb as tall as the eyes can see. The sky is a reddish orange hue. Smoke covers the city. You get the scent of like metal and smoke that are just permeating the air, but the smoke doesn't smell like it comes from a fire. It's a very weird smell for you guys. As you look through the door, you see a panicked elf woman that runs across the view. She looks all around her as if there were unseen assailants. As she runs away from the door, she trips and falls. From out of the side of the door, the party, you guys can hear a deep throaty chuckle, and a deep male voice says, "Well, Alari, it looks as if you have nowhere else to run." From the shadows, you see a man slowly walk into view. He's dressed in all white. Gold trims his jacket and shoes. On the jacket, over where his heart would be, is a symbol that none of y'all have seen before. It is a triangle with an eye in the middle. He walks towards the elf woman who's cowering on the ground. She's wearing very plain clothes of just blue and purple. Her dark brown hair was at one time pulled up into a tight bun, but has since fallen into disarray. You hear her say, "Just leave us alone, Sivorlo. We told you that we're done with you. We want out." The man gets closer and crouches down in front of the elf woman. He reaches out and places his hand under her face and forces her to look into his eyes. "And I have told you that you cannot get out. You belong to us." And that is where we're going to pick it up next time. So thank you everybody for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Have a good night and have fun.